Hey everybody, Andy Losick here from adventuresinpd.edublogs.org, also from mrlosick.blogspot.com. I am an elementary infotech teacher in Hamilton, Michigan. Today, what I want to talk about is why I am so big on using Keynote with our elementary kids. Super excited, we finally got Keynote on our student MacBooks this fall, and our kids are having a great time with it. So we're going to fire up Keynote here, and I'm going to take you through some of the steps, some of the things that I love to do with them, and then we'll get into some of the kind of the crazy, not really intended stuff that you can do with Keynote. So I'm going to go up here. This file here already opens. Our fifth graders actually were working the other day on creating their own mini production companies of 5 kids. Each little production company is going to cover different events at our schools throughout the year, and then they're going to assemble all those little packages that they create into one long video yearbook. And so this was really fun. We were creating a logo for one group called Beat Studios in Keynote. You know, we use that. Sorry about the bell. We use that here with my elementary kids as much as we would use something like Photoshop, and frankly I find it a whole lot more intuitive and a whole lot more user-friendly for the kids. So here's another one. This is cool. This was from Rockin' Films, and so you see the R that they created out of shapes here in Keynote. And then we went safely, supervised, went to Google Images, and we found images that were labeled for reuse, and that's the same thing with this mic stand here. And the kids put together this R, so you've got the rock in here, and then you've got the old school film camera. So I'm going to get out of this one, and I'm just going to, there's another one, we're going to delete that one because we'll be making essentially that right there. So new from Theme Chooser. I'm just going to work with white today, so I can double click that. Close up this. Okay. Now Keynote, when most people think of Keynote, they think of it as Apple's alternative to PowerPoint, and that is a great use of this app. I find it more user-friendly to teach from than I do Microsoft PowerPoint, and the same is true for Pages as an alternative to Microsoft Word. When we used to try and teach our upper elementary kids to use PowerPoint and use Word, the thing that always was the hang-up was the huge number of toolbars and stuff across the top. There were just menus upon menus upon menus, and I may have 25 kids, and it seemed like there were 25 different configurations of what menus and toolbars were open and which were closed, and this box was open, this box was closed, and whatnot. And Apple offers a really nice set of powerful tools that you can use, but it's not so much all over the place and kind of in your face, and so it's a whole lot easier for me to instruct the little bit of button pushing that I teach when things are cleared out this way. So, you know, let's say we're getting ready to do a presentation, and I do use Keynote for all my conference presentations. So let's say we're working on something like you know, Android in the classroom, and double click here, by Andy Losick, Hamilton Community Schools. And I would go along and I would, you know, I would assemble this. I could insert, come up here, and I could insert any pictures I wanted. I have all these things at the top. I can put in new text boxes. I can put in shapes. I can come here and I can use the inspector, and now I can start to get artistic, especially here in the graphics browser. I could put a picture frame around that. Drag that around, show you some of the different choices. You know, we could go something like this, and then bring this down, bring that down, tighten it up, and so, you know, it works a lot like PowerPoint. I can add a new slide over here, and then we can move those around, and you know, you can put things on a page and arrange them and all that. So it's, you know, it's a great slideshow or presentation creator. But let's delete that slide just by hitting delete. And I'm actually going to get rid of this, and I'm going to click that and get the handles, and I'm going to get rid of that. Because this app can be used for so much creativity and a lot of diagramming and stuff. We don't need all these different applications or have to go out to all these different websites. I love Sketch on both the Android side and on the iOS side, and it's great on the computer. But when you have Keynote, we can do essentially the same thing. So I'm going to jump on over here to Google Chrome and to mrlosik.blogspot.com, where I created a picture library for my kids as we start to play around with Keynote. And what I did is I uploaded a bunch of my own pictures and actually uploaded a bunch of me so that they could have fun, you know, doing mean things to me. Imagine T-Rex head and my head. Add captions. What am I saying to this snapping turtle? Whatnot. So, but let's think academic first before we get too silly. So here's a picture of an ant. And let's say we're working on insects. So I'm going to click that with 2 fingers, right-click it, however you want to call it, and I'm going to copy that image. I'm going to do a Command Tab. Command Tab lets me jump around between the apps that are running. So I go to Keynote, and I'm going to go to Edit, paste that ant right in here. Okay. So now what I'm going to ask my students to do, and to present this way, is I'm going to add a text box. So I'm going to go here, and I want to have them in antennae. Is that right? Is it spelled right? Yeah. See the red line? Antennae. Going to come like that. Now I'm going to go to Edit, Duplicate, but also see you can do Command D. Okay. I'll drag that down here. All right, 6 legs. Command D. I want to know where the abdomen. Finally, we're going to label the thorax. Okay. Good. And let's add a, let's call this 4 parts of insect. Okay, I like that size for a title. But let's take these, and I'm going to hold down Command along the way. Let's change their size. So up here, see a menu. It's nice to have these fonts right here. I'm going to go to 42, and I'm going to slide that down to about 24. I love this saying, person who clicks the least wins, and that's exactly what we want to show when we're doing a batch change of fonts and whatnot there. So there you go, 4 parts of an insect. Now I could go up to share, and I could share this out as a as an image. I could share it out as a PDF. You know, whatever. Maybe the kid wants to use this in something else. But let's think about how we could share this another way. We could turn this into a movie. So if I go and click on the ant, I'm going to go to my inspector, and I'm going to have some fun in the build menu. This is the hook for kids, especially like 3rd, 4th, 5th grade, when they start playing with the build menu here. So for the ant, I want the ant to drop out of the sky. So it's going to drop in. Okay. Then I need my title, and we'll have the title blast in like that. And then we'll just go around clockwise here. And if I'm a 5th grader, I want everything to flame. So I'm going to do this one. I'm going to make that one flame. I'm going to make this one flame. Hey, it could be a fire ant. And this one's going to flame. Alrighty. So now I've done the build on it. So now let's look at it as a presentation. So I press my space bar, and the ant drops in. 4 parts of an insect comes flying in. And then the thorax. then the antennae. 6 legs. Finally the abdomen. And there you go. All right, so cool little presentation there. If you're doing, public speaking, kids get up, they present that, they talk about that. Or, let's do this. Let's go back to that share. And let's export this as a QuickTime. Okay. So, a few things to think about here. I want fixed timing. Slide duration is going to be 5 seconds. The build duration, I'm going to take those build durations down to about 1 second. Okay, and then let's extend the time of our slide to about 8, because you got the ant coming in, you got the title, and then you have thorax, antenna, legs, and abdomen. So 6. So we'll make it 8. Let's make it even. We'll make it even 10 seconds. Okay. So it's not going to repeat, and we're going to tell it next. We're going to save this out to our desktop as, we'll just call it ant. And so Keynote's actually now editing, putting this all together into a QuickTime movie for me. Very cool. Now, that QuickTime movie could be used as standalone, or now the student could take that QuickTime movie, move it into iMovie or some other video editor like Final Cut if you're that advanced. Put it in iMovie, and then they can narrate over the top of it. Or that video might go into a larger presentation about insects or some other study. So let's do this. Let's minimize this. Let's minimize that. Let's take a look what our movie looks like here in QuickTime. All right, so here's our ant movie. Now it doesn't have any sound, but like I said, in iMovie or whatever, you could add some sound to it. Ant drops in. Got a quick build. So as I mentioned, a kid could be narrating that, or they could just be showing that. Okay. So now we've used it not only as a version of, let's say, Photoshop in order to put all that together, but now we've built some very scientific video with it. So I'm going to QuickTime here. Actually, I'm just going to get rid of that, get rid of that, get rid of that. That there. Had a few things open in QuickTime, or that we'd used. All right, let's go back to Keynote. So if I do Command A and get rid of that. So now this is where the kids were really having fun. So this is where they can get artistic. And it was really nice that to put this stuff up for them, they had all kinds of fun with it. So let's take, for example, we'll take this night shot of the desert. One of my favorite things I've ever done in a professional development activity was learning to light paint out in the desert at an Apple Distinguished Educator event, 2011. Bill Frakes from Sports Illustrated, Pulitzer Prize winner, took a bunch of us out to the desert and taught us how to do that. Amazing. All right, so we're going to drop this cactus picture in. Okay. And now we're going to put me, this picture here. Copy that image. Keynote. Now we're going to paste me in here, right? So I'm standing out in the desert. Now, this has a white background. And it doesn't look very good that way. It doesn't, it's not convincing at all that I'm actually out there, and I'm actually awfully tall compared to that cactus. So, move me over here. One of my favorite tools on any app, any platform, whatever, is the alpha channel. So I'm going to click alpha, and what it does is it's going to find that main color, that white, and as I expand my fingers, it's taking out all the white. So it's making it transparent. So there I am. Now I got a little bit of work to do here, a little bit of detail work under the arm, detail work under the arm over here. Close that warning box, take the alpha channel out there. Oops, a little too much. There we go. All right, so now I'm standing out in the desert. Just like that. Now, the kids were having all kinds of fun with this the other day. Third graders were. And so, you know, not only can you build in, you can also build out. So it was extremely hot. We were in Scottsdale in downtown Phoenix in July. It's like 113, 115. Got a classic dust storm one afternoon. Now we were out in the desert, and the desert does cool down, so it was probably 90-something. Feels a lot cooler when you don't have that sun boring a hole through your head. But anyway, it was still hot, okay? And so, you know, I'm out in the desert here, and, well, just watch what happens when we hit play here. I burst into flames and disappeared. So, tons and tons of fun that you can have with this. Tons and tons of creativity. One more little trick that I'll show you. All right, let's get me out there, and let's go back and let's select this picture where I'm standing here holding this sign with my name on it, so that folks at Apple knew who they were taking a picture of. So I copy this, tab, go to Keynote, I'm gonna paste this in here. All right, great big picture. It's covered up everything. All right, tool I want to show here, one more thing, is the mask. And mask is essentially allowing you to crop the picture. So we're going to take me here, all right, and we're going to crop out that wall and the side and the drapery and all that stuff. Okay. Now I can still, so that's me there. So now I can still alpha channel this. So I'm going to go here, drag that out like that. So now here I am, standing out in front, out in the desert. Make me a little smaller. Right, and I'm holding this sign. So let's have some fun with the shapes. So let's go to. So I bring this shape in. Okay, and by default in this. What do you call it, this theme, it comes in like that denim. Well, I'm going to go to the graphics on it, and I'm going to change it from an image fill to a color fill. And so I'm going to take this, and essentially I'm going to cover up where it says Andy Losick. Bring this down. I'm going to take the line, I'm going to get rid of the line, I'm going to have no stroke, so that's there. And then I'm going to switch over to this one, and this lets me work mathematically with this shape, and now I'm going to tilt it. All right, tilt it just like that. And now any shape that you bring in, you can type in. So I'm going to type in this shape, but I'm going to make this font way smaller. I'm going to make this like 18 font. White's probably not going to show up well, so let's go just black there. Center that, and I'm going to leave a message here. Have lots of fun with Keynote. Now notice that this little box popped up here. That shows me that I have a text box, but I don't have enough room, and I don't spell well when I can't see the word either. There we go. Have lots of fun with Keynote. I'm gonna take this whole thing here. Let's work with me just a little bit. I'm gonna go to Inspector. See if we can add a shadow to create some depth. Let's add a white. Be the white shadow. Great TV show. And I can change the way that comes off. It looks more ghostly than good. So let's see what happens if we go back to black. Go back to black and offset it. Make it come out this way. There we go. A little bit of depth. Anyway, lots of fun, lots of great things that we can do on Keynote. With this picture here, I'm going to put a frame around it. So there, looks like an old school postcard or something. I'm a big fan of the tape, just because I tape a bunch of junk around. Oh, let's move me up though. Let's do a command and click there so those are together. Get me back. Oh. This is the shadow. Alright, now I can take a screenshot of that, export it, all kinds of stuff. So have lots of fun with Keynote. It is by far the most versatile. It's been called the Swiss Army knife by a lot of people. Can't do anything with Keynote without giving props to my man John Carippo out in California. He's my sensei as I become a Keynote ninja. So anyways, I'm Andy Losick from Hamilton, Michigan, elementary infotech teacher. Check me out at adventuresinpd.edublogs.org or mrlosick.blogspot.com, or tweet at me, Mr. Losick. That's L-O-S-I-K. All right, take care, everybody. Have a good one.